When it comes to mobile game development design, user experience is one of the most important parts. What is user experience, you ask? And how does it affect your game? First, let me go over a little bit about myself. I've been playing video games ever since I was a little kid. I played anything from console games to cell phone games, from single player games to massively multiplayer online games with millions of people. I've seen my fair share of user experiences, both good and bad. So let's get back to my question. What is user experience? Armin Ghazarian describes user experience as the overall impression and feel of the game. It involves all aspects of the player-game interaction, from downloading the game to getting addicted or deleting it forever. Things that can affect this are playability, user interface, and the overall content of the game. Creating a great user experience not only increases the amount of users you have, but also your profitability. Some ways to create a positive user experience include easy and friendly tutorials. Nobody wants to sit through long, boring tutorials. They just want to get into the game. Make them short and simple, but get your point across. Design for smaller screens. Having a smaller screen means that the screen becomes even a more valuable asset to developers and designers. Being able to use every part of the screen effectively allows for games to have such a great user interface. Use intuitive gestures. Things like pulling a slingshot back or throwing a fish are very effective and are ultimately what makes mobile games so much fun. And develop something that is fun. Don't get overcomplicated, as players tend to get lost or confused. Truth be told, if the game is fun, nothing else really matters to the player. Now let's go over some factors that create a negative user experience. Some of the challenges developers face while creating mobile games are screen size, ergonomics, and the fact that everything is done on the screen. There is no external controller. One of the biggest things to deal with is that the player holds the actual gaming device in their hands, whether it be a phone or a tablet, and this makes it harder to design the user interface. Screens are smaller than they are for PC or console games. This takes a major toll on design and requires a lot of thinking. Finally, the touchscreen controls. Designing how the touchscreen controls should look or where they are located on the screen are important factors. If the player has to move their fingers all over the screen to reach the controls, they can't really see what's going on. Outside of these, there can also be parts of the game that can create a negative experience. Some models include the pay-to-win experience, where basically you could spend entire days, weeks, even months inside of a game creating the perfect champion, gear, or monsters, or whatever the game may require, and someone comes along with a lot of money and can basically buy their way into the game and get even better things than you can. I personally play a couple of games like this now, and it really only benefits the paying player in the end. So now we've looked at both the positive and the negative. So what can we do as developers to either maintain a positive experience or turn a negative one into a positive one? Blake Snow mentions that one rule is that a good program or product should let users accomplish the intended tasks as easily and directly as possible. The less time it takes a person to complete a task, even if it's a couple seconds, the more satisfying their experience becomes. When that happens, players are more likely to use the product in greater frequency and return for more. Regarding heuristics, Heather DeServer mentions in her paper, the primary foci for the fields of productivity software are to make the user interface non-obtrusive, easy to use, and to help facilitate the task, as the applications are primarily task-oriented. For games, however, the goals often include additional concepts such as providing an immersive environment, a sufficient challenge, and entertainment. Often it is a well-paced challenge that makes the game worth playing. As mobile game developers, focus on the fact that it is mobile, designed for smaller screens, use intuitive gestures, and design for fun. Build and expand upon this knowledge to create new and innovative ways to get an even better user experience for the user to make your game as profitable as it can be. As I stated before, creating a great user experience not only increases the amount of users you have, but also your profitability. And remember, the user is the most important part of your game. Without a happy user, there is no game. Thank you.